a great day when you're hanging around. Nothing's ever gonna bring me down. Good times are coming our way. Whenever, wherever, whatever today.
Today is going to be a great day. I am Nikki G, your host. Welcome to the Lone Doctrine, the food for thought exploration station, and your place in making today better than yesterday. How's the new year treating you? How are you today? Although our topic of the month has been exploring different ways of sticking to your New Year's resolutions and goals, I wanted to end this month in encouraging you not to let the beginning of the year, a new number, be the only reason you better your life. Each and every day we have the chance to choose betterment. It's not always easy. In fact, I sit here in the middle of grieving the loss of my grandma, who I was very close with, and I'm having trouble navigating these new waters. Some days it feels like I'm a totally different person, sometimes good, sometimes very unmotivated. The fact is, life's chapters will bring many different scenarios, situations, feelings, hardships, success, happiness. As I always say, life happens all at once. As I struggle, I do my best to at least take a small step towards betterment each and every day. I'm a give it your all, never stop working perfectionist, and all the attributes that on one hand have got me to where I am today, but sometimes have been the very reason I've had big burnouts. I've learned over time that life is a constant balancing game, but one thing I've had to really embrace is forgiveness. I used to go 1 hour of not working and would feel this immense sense of guilt, of not being good enough. Now, you may not be that as extreme, and I hope for your sake you're not, but wherever you find those challenges, whether it be outside influences or the ones that have the most weight within ourselves and our inner workings, sometimes we just need to forgive ourselves. We need to realize in order to find true betterment, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have days where we're at our best, and some days we may need a break. And sometimes we just need time to heal, all of which is important. So when you're feeling like one of your resolutions isn't working or you're about to give up on your goal, maybe take a breath and forgive. Give yourself that window to regain your strength, your light, to recharge, reassess, and more often than not, it's just about that action that will get you to that next step. Seems counterproductive? I used to think the same thing. If I'm not constantly working on a goal, how will it ever be achieved? There are many layers, many steps to a goal, and some you may not be aware of until they're staring you right in the face. Sometimes you find the answer through failing forward. But the fact is if you're scared that you're going to make a mistake and then do nothing at all, doing nothing becomes the biggest mistake you've ever made. Whether it's the new year, or better yet, every day, it's time. It's time to take the leap of faith towards a better you and a better life. You have a purpose. I believe in you. And even if you feel so blessed and your life is great, share that light with others. Be the one to lift people up through your example. The fact is, a year from now, when all the ideas of these New Year's resolutions come back around, you may have wished you started today. So I invite you to go back in the archives, find what resonates with you, and put it into action. Use the tools that create a way to keep moving forward. Or as the great quote says, life is like riding a bicycle. In order to keep your balance, you must keep moving. So as I close out this month, I'd like to share with you this new perspective I found in my food for thought explorations called 8 Techniques for Self-Acceptance, which can lead to what we've been talking about today, is self-forgiveness. Happiness is determined by our level of self-acceptance. That's something I've been learning and believe more and more, and as I've learned, it affects everything in our lives. Now, as we talk about these 8 techniques for self-acceptance, you don't need to do all these techniques all the time. Try 1 or 2 out, see if they help, then perhaps try another 1 or 2. Find what works for you. These are variations on a theme. Some of these things may seem repetitive, like they're very similar to others on the list. That's okay. There are just slightly different ways of approaching things, and doing one thing for a week and then another similar one the next week can help round out your understanding. So let's get into these 8 techniques for self-acceptance. Number 1, practice relaxed awareness. As opposed to constant distraction or concentrated focus, relaxed awareness is a soft consciousness of our thoughts, feelings, pain, self-rating, and judgment. It's an awareness of our existence and the stream of the phenomena that is occurring at this moment, including thoughts and emotions and outside stimuli. To practice, when you're in a safe place, close your eyes for a minute, and instead of pushing thoughts away or trying to focus on your breath, just softly notice your thoughts and feelings and your body. You might see negative thoughts or emotions. That's okay. Just notice them. Watch them. Don't try to turn them into positive thoughts or push them away. You can do this practice for 5 minutes a day or up to 30 minutes if you find it useful. Number 2, welcome what you notice. When you practice relaxed awareness, you'll notice things, negative thoughts, fears, happy thoughts, self-judgments, etc. We tend to want to stop the negative thoughts and feelings, but this is just a suppression, an avoidance, a negating of the negative. Instead, welcome these phenomena. Invite them in for a cup of tea. Give them a hug. They are part of your life, and they are okay. If you feel bad about how you've been doing with exercise, that's okay. Hug the bad feeling, comfort it, let it hang around for a while. They are not bad, but are opportunities to learn things about ourselves. When we run from these bad feelings, we create more pain. Instead, see the good in them and find the opportunity. Be okay with them. Number 3, let go of rating yourself. Woo, that's a big one. Another thing you'll notice once you start to pay attention is self-rating. We rate ourselves compared to others, or rate ourselves as good or bad at different things, or rate ourselves as flabby or too skinny or ugly. This is not a very useful activity. That doesn't mean you should let it go, but just notice it and see what results from it. After realizing that self-rating repetitively causes you pain, you'll be happy to let it go in no time. Number 4, gratitude sessions. Wake up in the morning and think about what you're grateful for. Include things about yourself. If you failed at something, what about that failure are you grateful for? If you aren't perfect, what about your imperfection can you be grateful for? Feel free to journal about these things each and every day or once a week if that helps. Number 5, compassion and forgiveness for yourself. As you notice judgments and self-rating, see if you can turn them into forgiveness and compassion. If you judge yourself for not doing well at something or not being good enough at something, can you forgive yourself for this, just as you might forgive someone else? Can you learn to understand why you did it and see that ultimately you don't even need forgiveness? If we really seek to understand, we realize that we did the best we could, given our humanness, our environment, what we've learned and practiced, etc. And so we don't need to forgive, but instead to understand and to seek to do the things that might relieve the pain. And number 6, learn from all parts. We tend to try to see our successes as good and then failures as bad. But what if we see everything as something to learn from? Even the dark parts. There are parts of us and we can find interesting and useful things in them too. Number 7, separate from your emotions. Easier said than done. When you are feeling negative emotions, see them as a separate event, not a part of you, and watch them. Remove their power over you by thinking of them not as commandments you follow or believe in, but rather passing objects, like a leaf flowing past in the wind. The leaf doesn't control you, and neither do negative emotions. And last but not least, talk to someone. This is one of my favorite techniques. When we get so in our heads that it's difficult to separate our thoughts and emotions, to see things clearly, talking through these issues with another person, a friend, a spouse, coworker, even a therapist, can help you understand yourself better. Use the talking technique together with one of the above techniques. As you learn self-acceptance, realize that it's always available to you, and you can have it no matter what you do. You can learn, create interesting things, make connections with others, with self-acceptance at the center of it all. I really feel that it can change everything you do if you practice. There's a key point. Well, there's all kinds of key points in that exploration, but one I wanted to address was practice. We can listen to and read all the good stuff to our heart's content, but the biggest mission I have here at the Lone Doctrine is to have a place where you can not only have a wealth of information, but you can write your doctrine and find what works for you and put it into practice. But you have to work it. You have to put it into action. And some of these things may take time, and they may take practice. Life isn't an overnight fix. It's an ongoing process that is unfolding each and every day. Or as my mom always says, enjoy the journey. So keep going. Keep moving forward even when times are hard. We will keep moving forward together, and I hope you'll join us on Facebook, Instagram, and most social media platforms. We at the Lone Doctrine are a listener-supported podcast, and the more support we receive, the more we can give. If you found value in the Lone Doctrine, we would love for you to join us for even a simple $1 a month at patreon.com/Lone Doctrine. patreon.com/Lone Doctrine. Your patronage helps keep us on air. Together, we make a difference. Thank you again for tuning in, and remember to keep fighting the good fight.
It's a